I think the ACC basketball season is going to be a really fun one. I think there's a lot of teams that are all in, which leads to just big, high-stakes matchups, right? There's a lot of teams that have tried something different. How many times have we seen UNC return like a fifth year or a fourth year or multiple-time All-ACC pick and try to build their team around that? This year, I know Seth Trimble's returning, but he's not exactly in that same mold. And they went to the transfer portal heavy, and they have the top 10 pick freshman that has eluded them in the past. And all of that is happening. It's new. NC State. Will Wade is new. I mean, and this is no disrespect to Kevin Keatts. This is no I don't know if there's the right way to do anything in college sports anymore, but it's definitely different. It's definitely different. So looking at NC State this evening when they take on UNC-Greensboro, UNC-G in Raleigh, I think I have to lean into that and say I want this team to look like a juggernaut against one of these group of 5 teams at some point. And I'm not saying they haven't looked good. Don't get me wrong. NC State basketball has looked super solid through their first 2 games. Not it's not a gauntlet when we're talking about these teams that have won, top 25 matchups or power conference, non-conference games. They've absolutely dirtied NC Central, and they won by 25, I think it was, against UAB. And tonight they get UNC-G. And what I just haven't seen is juggernaut. And that's what I want to see, right? Will Wade didn't show up saying, well, by year 3, we think we'll have the culture in part and we'll figure it out. And, we're going to get to know each other early on. No, he showed up saying, I'm not afraid of our bully neighbors. He showed up saying we're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the ACC year 1. We're going to make the NCAA tournament. We're going to win, and we're going to win big. So part of writing those kinds of checks is you then got to go out and cash them.
Yeah, got to look good tonight against a team that is typically one of the I would say better kind of low major teams, but definitely looking like a struggle to start the year this year. They're 0-2. NC State's favored by 31.5 points tonight against UNC-G, which seems like a big number. But again, if they're going to fit this billing as one of these top teams in the ACC and one of these contenders, and they're trying to build up this culture, I mean, you need to take care of business, and you kind of do need to win by that much.
If I'm getting the vibe right, and I've been wrong on vibes in the past, so maybe I'm not, but if I'm getting the vibe right, NC State wants to be a little flashy, right? They want to be, and by the way, again, like Jim Valvano was a little flashy, right? Like they want to be a little flashy. They want to be a little like we're good and we know it. We want to be a little, we have some NIL money and we throw it around. They want to be that. Yeah, we wear throwback uniforms. Their coach has gotten a technical in each of their first 2 games, and neither has been close. Right? If that's going to be your attitude, then I will give you attitude in return and say, all right, I'm not going to be cool with like a middle of the road plotting 20-point victory over a team that you're better than. I want to see splash plays. I want to see highlights. I want to see stretches where your defense that's so vaunted from your time at McNeese State with all of this length on the perimeter is getting deflections and running and deflections and running and deflections and running. That's what I want to see. And is it like fair? Maybe not. But you've promised me unfair.
You're unapologetically coming out and making this statement as, we're this great team and we're going to take care of business, and we don't really care what you say about it. Even if you're a referee and you have a whistle, just go ahead and tee me up if you don't like it. So I thought it was a bit of a quick whistle on Friday though when he got the technical in that one. The
UAB one.
Yeah, it didn't take much on that one, but I think Will Wade's embodying very much like what State fans have been wanting out of a coach for so long, is that kind of fiery, impassioned guy.
I'll give you this, though. Quick whistle on Friday. I'm not saying it definitely had something to do with it, but if you get a technical up 55 in one game, refs are going to be like, all right, Joker, you're not doing that. You're not doing that mess here.
I'm sure the referees are no friend of Will Wade, which is how much fire he has down there on the bench. But again, as long as it's not really affecting the result of the game, like I think most fans are fully behind him, just kind of going after it. And I don't know if there's a rule in college basketball where you can only get a certain number and then you get suspended like in the NBA, but I guess we'll see if he keeps up the current rate of one per game. We'd probably hit that right around the start of conference play. So
he'll figure it out. I mean, he won't get one every single game. The thing about Will Wade has been everywhere he's been, he's won. Everywhere he's been a good coach. Obviously, there were off the court reasons why his career has taken this winding path to get to NC State. Like there's no doubt that I think he knows how to work refs in game and things. It's just if you're gonna if you're going to make the statement technical, refs may want to make a statement technical in return to say that's not how it's going to be here today. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be, but I've been around sports to know that humans are humans and that kind of thing happens. The point I want to make about all of this, right? Because I'm sure there's some state fans going, goodness gracious, we won by 40-something and we won by 20-something and you're not happy. I was willing to be happy. I was willing to say, just like your first 5 games, NC Central, UAB, UNC-Greensboro, VCU, Seton Hall, before you finally play Auburn. I was willing, right? When he took over, I would have been more than happy if he said, like, we're gonna build and get to know each other and all of that. If that was his opening press conference, I'd be sitting here today going, everything's on schedule. They're still getting to know each other. And I've said that about other teams. Right? You didn't have to build it up, right? That's how he wants to run his program. And I think part of that is, I think this is why a lot of trash talkers talk trash. If I go out there and say I'm going to do something, well, now I have to go do it. It's a little extra motivation, right? If I talk trash, if I call you names, if I say you stink, and this is not Will Wade's thing, I'm now just talking about trash talking as a mindset in general. Like Gary Payton, right? If you're out there saying you're not going to score a bucket, you can't score on me. Maybe that's what makes him work so hard to make sure you don't score a bucket and don't score on him. So if you're going to come out and say we're one of the top 4 teams in the ACC, we're not going to rebuild, we're going to win now, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. All right, if that's what you have to say so it becomes heightened stakes, I'm going to raise the stakes with you. I'll be right there along for the ride. I want to see the game where you start off hitting your first 12 shots.
Yeah, instead of missing the first 12 threes like they did against UAB on Friday. But I mean, look, they still won that game by 24 and handled it easily. Just a bit of a slow start, and you want to come out and be able to hit some shots early. Yep. They're very committed to get all your shots either behind the three-point line or at the rim. And I think Will Wade talked about it in his first coaches show. He's like, 90% of our shots in the first game were at the rim or three-pointers. And that's the way modern basketball has gone, and he's built a team that plays to that tendency very well. There's shooters all around, even kind of, a little bit deeper on the bench. Like when you get Jerry Dang out there, they call him Clip because he's a shooter, and that's just one of the many guys. You've got Matt Abel, who is, at this point, the only player who's attempted a three that's below 40% so far on the season. And it's through 2 games, and he's had a lot of volume, and that's probably going to improve as well.
And he's a true freshman in his first 2 college games.
Exactly. And then you've got Paul McNeil, who's basically like the one holdover other than Jordan Snell, who's just kind of he started as a walk-on, I believe, is still hanging around, bringing the locker room presence. Fan favorite, exactly. And you've got Paul McNeil, who to this point is leading the way, and shooting is his thing as well. So you've announced who you are and what you're going to do, and now it's time to kind of walk that walk. And they've kind of passed the test so far. Another opportunity here to keep asserting yourself through this kind of softer start, but it's all good to build up towards the big matchups that are coming down the road.
Even with that, me wanting them to show the juggernaut stuff today, if they don't and they still win by 20, I won't complain, but I'll want to see it against VCU. And like at some point, if you're going to be that team, I want to see the flashes. It's not like there's no deadline on it. I just want to.
Hoping VCU can continue to be kind of the mid-major competitor they've been, even though they lost their coach. They did lose to Utah State already, but again, that's another Mountain West team that can be pretty frisky usually. So
I think VCU's coach, let me make sure, is a Martelli, Phil Martelli Jr. So his dad is Phil Martelli, who obviously is a legendary coach. Quick Phil Martelli VCU story. I'll probably tell this again leading up to the VCU game for NC State. He was an assistant at Delaware when I was a student at Delaware. And I was working a camera. I was like student media, right, for our little student-run television show. And so I had a big camera over my shoulder. There's games tied. I forget who they may have been playing UNC-G, actually. Games tied. Getting ready to go to overtime. There's like 2.4 seconds on the clock. Delaware does not have the ball. And they break the huddle. There was a timeout. They break the huddle, go out on the floor. This is a 100% true story. I don't even know how I would prove it, but I don't know how you would disprove it. Delaware went out there with 6 guys. And stadium full of people, coaches, both teams, refs. They had a guy on the inbounder at one end, and they had 5 guys on defense at the other end. And when I tell you I was the only person in the entire stadium to notice, and I don't want to yell. I'm like directly across the way from the coaching staff. I don't want to yell and draw attention to it, but I want them to know in case, bang a timeout or something. I don't know what they could have done, pulled someone off the floor. So I'm like with a big camera on my shoulder, waving one hand, trying to get the coaches. And Phil Martelli Jr., who was the assistant coach at the time, VCU's head coach now, locked eyes with me. And I had one hand on the camera. I couldn't take it off. Signal 6. So I was doing like a 5, 1, 5,
trying to hold up
1.
6 fingers on one hand.
Yeah, exactly. And he's looking at me going, what? And I was going 5, 1. And I was pointing to players. And right as the ball is snapped, I saw his face recognize what happened. And his jaw dropped, eyes got big, and he froze. And the 2.4 seconds or whatever it was played off the clock. The other team missed the jumper, and they all the teams just went to the sideline, and nobody ever noticed except for me and him. And he looked at me and just like mimed, phew, and went into the timeout. And I was like, what just happened? And I wanted to, I then went and told everybody in my student media group, like, did anybody see that? And they were like, well, play it on camera. I didn't film the entire play because I was just camera up.
He's trying to signal that
I was trying to save the team. My
floor.
roommate was on the basketball team, so I was not an impartial media member. And he just went, whew, and went about coaching the game. And I was like, what is going on here? And I think Delaware went on to win. So somewhere, it was either UNC, it was someone in the Colonial Athletic Association. They probably were owed free throws or something at the end of a game. They just played 6. It was the wildest thing I've most surreal thing I've been a part of in the media. I was thousands of people watching. One noticed that there were 6 guys playing defense. And now he's the coach at VCU. If he does it this time, I'm yelling, 6 men on the... Because I'm not going to let them get away with it now. We're not on the same team.